Okay, here's what we took off. I just wanted to show you this. These are the drum brakes. Of course, they're all rusted because they've been sitting here in the rain for a couple of months. But I'm going to throw them away, so it doesn't make any difference. See these? So basically, let's just go up here. And then there's two little pins here. When you step on the brake, these shoes expand against the drum. And here's all the springs and everything else that go with it. Of course, I don't care, I'm throwing it out. So what happens is, right in here, and when you press on the brake, they expand and slow the car down. And this just goes on the top. Just like that. That's basically what it looks like. And we took it off. And this goes up to the upper ball joint, this goes to the lower, and then we had the steering arm here that connects to the tie rod, and that turns the wheel as you turn the steering wheel. And disc brakes was an option on these cars for several years. And since this is a 70, it is an option that they had power assisted disc brakes. What we're going to do here is convert this 70 Chevelle that has drum brakes, not powered assist, to a powered assist disc brake setup. Here is the power booster. Here is the master cylinder. This is the back side. A new spindle. Here's the calipers, the backing plate. It comes with the brakes itself, the discs, and here's new rotors, new bearings. So what we're going to do is take all these apart. It also comes with a new proportioning valve. See, it'll sit underneath the car like this. This goes to the back brakes. These two holes on the top, they go to the master cylinder. This one on the bottom here goes over to the passenger side brake. This top here where it has the plug-in, this will go to the driver's side brake. So you'll see the old master cylinder with no power assist. Then we have two lines here going down to the proportioning valve down on the bottom. And that is bolted to the frame, and you'll see these two are the ones that come from the master cylinder. This one here comes up to the driver's side brake, and then looking at it from the bottom, this line here goes to the back brakes. This gets plugged in. This one goes to the master cylinder. This one on the bottom, that one goes over to the passenger side, and it runs right underneath the motor right here, and it comes up over here and out on this side right here. And then there's a rubber hose that hooks right over to here where it goes to the calipers. So what we're going to do is change out these brake lines. So this one has a bolt right here. I loosened it up so I can take that right out. And it has these clips where it has a little tip on it. And there's a little hole in the frame for it to go, and then where the bolt hole goes. So if you follow it around, you'll see right here, there's the other one. So that's number 2. Look on the bottom of the motor, and here it comes on this side. So that's number 3. And that line will connect directly to the portioning valve. Okay, so we'll take this line off. We'll take the line off that goes to the front. Take the 2 lines that go to the master cylinder. And this one goes to the back brakes. And then here's just a bracket that holds it on. So I'm going to take those off right now. So the bolt's holding the 7/16. You'll see it's a little tight. Okay, there's one side. That will be passenger side. This will be the master cylinder. This back line here goes to the rear brakes. So I guess we're going to have brake fluid all over the ground here. Sets to the back. That was 9/16. These are 7/16. Okay, so I'm going to screw this one, take this one off, take this one off, and I'm going to unbolt it from right here. And that should take the whole valve right out of there. Okay, so looking from the top. So this is the line from the master cylinder, and here is the valve. You'll see it's still got the front line on it from the driver's side, since I busted the end off. But here is the whole valve right here. Okay, so here's the new one. It's a little larger than the older one, but it's got the same connections. Now we have the proportion valve in. This is the connection that goes to the rear brakes. This one here goes over to the passenger side. The two on the top, this one and this one, go up to the master cylinder. And then there's one more on the other side that will go over to the driver's side. So you have the lines hooked up. Here they go. These will go to the new master cylinder, not this one. And we need one more line that comes from here that will go across the frame and go through here. So we still have to install that one. Here's the new spindle that we're going to put on here with the new brakes. And we also need the arm here that connects to the steering mechanism, but that's on the old drum brake. So let me take this all apart, because it comes assembled when they deliver it. Here's the calipers, here's new disc brakes. There's a rotor. Here's the bearings. It's the backing plate, brackets. apart. Now we put some DW40 on here to make it a little easier. We broke them loose. Spin these guys off. There's a second nut. This is what we want right here. So let's go put that on. So before we can put the spindle on and the backing plate, see, this is where the rotor is going to run, but the seals are one right here, or bearing is one here and one here. But in the meantime, we have to hook up this steering bracket in that, so if it mounts on the other side, the lower ball joint, upper ball joint will be here. This is where the tie rod end connects in. So that's what we have to put this together, and then we'll be ready to go to put it back on there. So let me just tighten all this back up. So I just have this in a vise to make it a little easier. And here we're bolting on the steering mechanism. See, it's in a vise. And then onto the backing plate. And then it'll be ready to assemble. Now that this bolt is tight, we can put the cotter pin in there, go on the back side and twist that over. And we also have to come to the lower one here, put the cotter pin in, and go around the back side and bend it over. Bend it over here, bend it over here. From there we will get the rotors, we'll install the bearings and put the rotors on here, and then we'll come back, put the brakes, hook up the brake line over here. Alright, now it's time to put the rotors on, but what we need to do is grease these bearings. They're bone dry. Also, inside here, way inside, make sure that you wash this out. Well, I use gasoline because sometimes there's metal shavings in here. So make sure that all that is clean. Alright, so now let's just pack, well, let's put some grease in there. For starters, there's never enough grease. Put some on the all in here on the race, put it way inside there. Come on the other side and do the same thing. Okay, so now we'll take the bearing itself and pack it full of grease. Just keep on going around and around and just stuff it in there. You'll see when you have enough, because it'll start coming out here to all the bearings themselves. See, so the grease is going someplace because it's disappearing. Let's see if we can pack some more in there. Okay, that one was kind of full. So that just sits right in there, like that. This is the other side. Okay, that looks pretty full. Okay, the next is to put the seal in. So there it is. Just slowly go around, get it started. There it is. That's the seal. Okay. Next thing, let's install it on the spindles. Alright. Right in this spot is where the inner bearing runs. Right here is where this bearing runs. So when you put it on, this will sit right here. The other one will run right here. And the entire rotor runs right around here. So let's just take this off for now. Put some grease on here. Grease this whole thing right up. That's right in there. There's the out bearing. There's the washer. Put the nut on here. So how I do this, everybody does this different, I guess. I just tighten it right up tight. Then back it off just a little bit. It's not loose. So, again, here it is. Tighten it all the way. Loosen it a little bit. Caught it right in. Next thing we have is a little dust cap. It's the same deal. It's the same thing. All you do is you put it on there and gently tap. Care of that. Now we're going to put the brakes on. So Here we have the two pads, and here's our calipers. So basically what happens is calipers just bolt right over the top, and these bolts go through, one here and one up here. So now let's put the pads on. Alright, so this spring goes inside here like this, sits over here like this. But what we're going to do is I always put this disc brake grease on there. This just right around here. And we'll just slip that one right into position. And we'll put some grease on this side too. And just slip that right on there. We take this whole unit and just put it right on. Slip it right over the rotor itself. Line up. So here's the top bolt right here. See that the pads are in. They're spinning right past. So now all we have to do is tighten these up. Here's the bottom one. There's the top one. That's how you install the disc brakes, calipers, and the pads. Alright, now what we're going to do, we're going to hook this brake line up. What we have to do is hook up the brake line. So it has a bolt that has a hole through the center, and also it comes out through here, and that hole lines up with the hole inside the brake line itself. So what we're going to do is put copper washers on each side. And just line this up. Tighten it up. And that's it. Now that we have the disc brakes on, all this needs to be bled. Well, first of all, we have to connect the hose up. So the hose just goes to the clip, tap it right in there, then hook up the brake line. Now they sell special wrenches for brake lines, but since I don't do it enough, I don't have those. There we go. Okay, now we are going to take off the master cylinder. See, we got new lines running from the proportion valve way down on the bottom over there, and we'll just wait to bend these final when we put the new master cylinder and booster, because we don't know exactly where that's going to be. So, and this comes off with 2 bolts, but there's 4 bolts because the power booster uses 4. Now we have to go underneath the dash and pull the braking mechanism out. Here's the brake pedal, and what we have to disconnect, you can see it here. This goes from the master cylinder, so there is a, so wait a minute, we have to take that clip off so that we can take this whole whatever U-clamp that connects to the rod that goes to the master cylinder. So let me take that off and we'll see how it looks. Is pull this pin from that clevis, and then we can go from the other side and pull it out. There's the master cylinder. And we'll just pull it right out. Now this hooks to the brake pedal itself, and there's a little pin that goes through here. So I'm going to measure all this up with the new one and see if I can get it fairly well adjusted before I even put it in. But here it is. Alright, we also have to take this one off too. So here how the booster, how it comes, the booster and the master cylinder. So I need to take it apart because I need to bleed this anyway. Bench bleed it. We'll do that a little later on, but just and there it is. There's the whole master cylinder. There's the booster. Okay, so what happens, there's that clevis. And this goes on the brake pedal itself. So when you bolt this on to the car, here's the 4 bolts. This will go through the firewall. This goes to the brake pedal itself. So what I'm going to do here, here's the old master cylinder. So I'm just going to measure from the firewall right to that center of the bolt hole. And it says 6 1/4. So what I'm going to do here is do the same thing and make sure that the center of this pin is 6 1/4. Okay, so that's 6 1/4. Take this and tighten it up. Okay, so now when I put it in there, it will be generally the same adjustment as was the original one. So here we're going to install the booster. Goes right through that hole. Okay. All right, now there's the studs. There's 2 of them and 2 on the other side. So we got to put the nuts back on there, and then we'll go on to the inside and put that clevis around the brake pedal. So you can see, I guess a little out of focus, but it's too close. Here's the clevis that came through, and here is the brake pedal, and they tell you in instructions is to use the lower hole. So that's lining up right with the lower hole. So I'm going to put that pin in there, and then I'm going to go back to the other side and check, because we need a little bit of play here. So okay, see the rod comes through the firewall right over here. They have this clevis, and here's where you put your pin. So have to notice, oh, you can see it up there, right there at the top of my thumb. That was the old hole, and they have a secondary hole about 1 inch below, so that's the one you use. Now the only thing we have to do is put the pin in. Now, to make it easier for myself, so I can get access to all this stuff, I disconnected the clutch rod so that I could get more access into this. See, so you can see where the rod comes through. You got the clevis, the pin goes in here. This is the brake switch itself. So what I'll do now is I'll put the cotter pin on the other side, and then I'll put connect the clutch rod back up over here. See, that gives you access, and you put the cotter pin on the other side so it doesn't get snagged. All right, now we have the booster on, and there's 4 square bolts, 2 on either side. So the next step is to get the master cylinder, and we will bench bleed it, and then we'll put it on, and we'll connect up the lines, and then we'll just bleed the entire whole system. To connect up the rest of the system, now that we have the calipers on, we bolt it on the brake line, and it connects right here on the frame, and this goes to the proportional valve. We also hooked up the lines for the front and the rear to the master cylinder, and they go to the proportional valve too. Well, what we did is we just put them all up here and tried them so that when we do hook it up, they're already bent and in place. So the proportion valve is way down on the bottom. See it over here. You see the 2 lines going down, going to it. And we have the 2 lines coming from the master cylinder, one for the back, one for the front. And the other line, this is the one that comes from the driver's side. It goes in its own location here on the proportion valve. Point to it. Right there. That's where the front driver's line hooks up. So now everything is basically in place. So what we're going to do is take off the master cylinder, bench bleed it, and hook up all the lines and then we can start bleeding the whole car. Alright, here what we're going to do is bench bleed the master cylinder. I put it in a vise here, and it comes with a little kit, not very good one, but they didn't quite give me all the parts. So we're going to stick these ends right inside where the fluid will come out. Not big enough. Okay, so here we're just gonna set these hoses up so that we're going to put fluid in here, and as we pump it's going to come up through here, and this one will come from the back portion. So we'll just put some brake fluid in here. Now always wear glasses because brake fluid is not very good for the eyes. In fact, you're going to be really sorry if you get this in your eyes. Here, put these on. Just in case this hose springs up. Alright, so we're just going to gently push.
Seems to be doing.
Okay. Okay, so you can see in these lines here, you still got some air bubbles. So we'll just keep on gently doing this. Just push it in until they all come out. See, they're getting better and better. There's less and less. So as we go back and forth, see the one for the front brakes is already completely done. We just have a little bit more air in the secondary and for the back brakes here. But as you keep on pumping it, all the air will come out. Okay, see, so it seems that it's all done because I don't see any more air bubbles. So that's how it's done. What we'll do is just take these hoses off. We'll put the cover on and just tape these hoses up, and we're going to install it on a car, and then we'll hurry up and just take these out and put the regular lines in there so the air doesn't go in there. Okay, let's go put it on the car. Alright, now we're going to put the master cylinder on the car. And remember, it's got 2 bolts. Okay, so we have one on. So now, let's take out the first one. Right, now be careful with that, because brake fluid, remember, brake fluid takes paint off cars faster than you can believe it. Yeah, just drop it off. Okay. All right, that's one side. Okay, I want to wipe off my hands because I don't want this fluid to get on the paint. Go on to the other side. Okay, so that takes care of the installation. The lines are hooked up, and the master cylinder is bolted to the booster. Alright, from here we're going to go through and bleed all the lines. And we're going to start with the passenger side rear, then we're going to go to the driver's side rear, and we're going to go to the front driver's passenger side and finish up with the driver's side, because this is the closest we go. Always start at the farthest and go to the closest. Okay, here's the bleeder screw for the rear. I broke it loose a little bit, so it's ready to go. Okay, press the pedal down.
Right.
Is it all the way down?
Yes.
Okay, come all the way up to the top.
Okay.
Okay, press it down and hold it down.
Right.
Okay, pump it a couple more times.
Okay.
Okay, press it down and hold it down.
Okay, it's down.
Okay, pump it a couple more times. Okay, now get ready. Here we go. See, we're going to open this up. Alright, press the brake down.
Okay.
Okay, so when he pressed it and it's down, I'm going to lock it. Alright, now I'm going to go to the other side.
Press it down.
Okay, press it down. And at the same time, I open this up here and let the fluid come out. Now when it gets all the way down to the bottom, I'm going to lock this back.
It's down.
Okay, now pump it a couple times.
Okay.
Okay, hold it down. Press it and hold it down.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens, or you can let the pedal up. What happens here is when he pushes the pedal down, the fluid comes out. If there's no air, that means this line has got solid brake fluid. So now we're going to go do the front. Now here's the front. Let's do that again. Alright, pump the brakes. Okay, hold them down.
Hold down.
Okay, so here's the fluid coming out. Is it all the way down?
Yep.
Okay, now I'm going to lock this off. All right, pump the brakes again.
Okay.
Okay, now hold it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's got no more.
Okay, there's the fluid coming out. Okay, so I'm going to lock this off. Okay, pump it again.
Okay.
All right, now hold him down.
Yeah.
See, now that looks like there's no air coming out of that one. So, all right, you can stop. Okay, so let's do the driver's side now. Here's the driver's side. Okay, pump the brakes. All right, now just hold it down.
Yeah.
The steady stream of fluid coming out with no air. So I'm going to lock this down. Okay, pump the brakes again. Okay, now hold them down.
Yeah.
See, now we see no air coming, so that means it's all the air is taken out of the whole system here. Okay. All right, we're done. Now that we finished bleeding the last disc brake, that means the one on the driver's side front, I need to check this master cylinder to see if the fluid is full. And it probably is not. Oh, perfect. See? We need to make sure that after you get done bleeding all the brakes, that you fill this back up. And we'll just fill the rear one and fill the front one. And now we're good to go. So we'll put the cover back on. Make sure it seats really nice. The back and front. And there we are. That takes care of the entire whole installation. And now we'll just go out there and give it a try, give it a drive. Be careful, we'll do some preliminary stops before we really have to stop the car. But there's another thing I forgot to mention, and that is hooking up the vacuum hose from the booster to the manifold. So I already did that, but let me just show you where it goes and where I hooked it up. So I went and bought myself a new hose right here that hooks here and comes all the way around. I have to shorten it, but I didn't so far, but I will. And here is the vacuum line that comes right out of the manifold itself. So I just hooked it up and just put a hose clamp on there. What I need to do is probably go out and get the right fitting so it fits right. This is a little bit small, but for right now it'll work. So here's the hose. Here's the hose. Once again, it's too long, but no big deal for right now, for this is my trial period. And here it hooks right up there. And that's it. And that will provide the vacuum for the booster pump and give you a powered assisted brakes. All right, now when you have everything all done, you have the entire whole thing assembled, brakes on there, and you're going to put your 14-inch rims on here. You're going to be surprised. I'll put these two on. So after you get these on, and you don't think you're all set, you're going to be fooled. Because they don't turn. They don't have enough clearance. They forgot to tell you when you bought the kit that it fits 14-inch wheels. Yes, it does, but it's got to be 14-inch wheels that were made for disc brakes. So, at least I know in 1970 that disc brakes were an option. So, when I put these on, you can see right here the caliper rubs on the rim. So, you just need more space. So, you can't use these wheels. So, I ended up, since I couldn't find 14-inch disc brake wheels, I ended up buying 15-inch wheels. So, if you put 15-inch wheels on here, you'll see 15-inch wheels clears with no problem at all.